How was your morning?
Good. I mean, it's like, what now? 4. Yeah, like, I had a slow morning today. I had a breakfast outside on the lawn. We're living on the countryside right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we moved because of Corona, we moved from, like, nearby Berlin. And we live on the countryside now in a very small village.
So is that a big adjustment for you?
It's okay. I think, I was living before that. I was living in Budapest, and it was like, I don't know, I really missed the green and nature. So, and now I realize, it's kind of necessary to have it, but having the people is more important.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you're still working on getting the balance.
Yeah, I think I will probably leave here in some time.
Okay.
And maybe go back to Berlin or Budapest, or I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
can you tell me more about your project with the interviews? Like, it sounds really interesting. Where is this going?
Where is this going? Yeah. Okay. So, time to interview me. I guess all the art I'm finding, there's just a kind of seems to be like almost a community already existing on Instagram, and using Instagram in a way that's like getting so much more value out of this platform than what I'm used to so far from using it. So suddenly now I'm following 30 or 35 different artists, and I'm getting like so much content that I love. I'm just waking up, but and there seems to be a language that they're sharing that has a little bit to do with some of the other popular visual languages like memes or some of the newer aesthetics of video games in different parts of culture, and but there's also something else that I don't really know how to explain that unites these things, and that they share, and where there's a discourse happening visually, and I just I would like to get in the middle of it. So it may be an article, it may be these videos just as they are. I'm still in the kind of testing stage.
Cool. Yeah, it's I actually had a conversation about this with my boyfriend a couple of days ago. We were talking about this, like, there's like a lot of these spirals and like some retro vibe to this new aesthetic that a lot of people are how do you say, like, just engaging in on Instagram right now. And I feel like like there's a huge element of nostalgia to it. I always wonder how I feel about the fact that a lot of the content seems like purely created for Instagram. Like, it's almost like Instagram is giving us the frame, like, like everything has to be square or like a certain ratio, and then it has to function as a thumbnail and everything. So sometimes I have mixed feelings about how restrictive it actually can be. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like those constraints help you?
Mm, they certainly make it easier to put down, like to lower your expectations on yourself, which is actually quite liberating. I mean, my real life projects are not the stuff that I'm putting on Instagram. Like I'm actually a filmmaker and I make like animated movies. But they don't have this like Instagram value. So I was happy that I discovered illustration and the style for myself. Yeah.
So the work that you put on Instagram, what does it mean for you? Is it a promotional thing? Is it a sketchbook or a mood board, or how do you describe it?
I think right now it's kind of like a research for following projects. Because I think, I don't know, I stumbled across this app. I don't know, we can talk about it more later. I can show you with my tablet somehow. But I discovered this app by like just unknown developer, like really cheap app that's like I think even free app. And I started doodling in it. And it has some brushes that actually some high-end apps like Photoshop don't have.
Okay.
You can, because it's kind of a bit glitchy, you can do fun stuff with it. And then I put those images through different like image editing app, which is also like not high end quality, and they interact with each other in a really cool way. And I love how automatic that is, and how much of the conscience of the machine and the digital media that you're working with actually kind of shows in the final result. What was the question? Sorry.
Maybe we should talk about a specific piece now that you're getting into your process. So there was the first one I mentioned I wanted to talk about was May 5th, the Second Choice Drawings compilation.
Yes, yeah.
So in the context you were just describing, can you maybe reference this piece specifically?
Yes, sure. So with this one, I think I started with just like I just doodled and just drew some lines in this app that I was just talking about. So it has this thick pen that's almost like drawing with a hot glue gun or gel or something. And I just love how it feels. And I make them on my tablet, which is also like, I mean, my normal professional work I do on like a big drawing tablet, but I just love the friction of the pen on this small tablet much more. So I just kind of play around, and then I have a drawing, and then I put it into the image editing app. And what happens then is kind of like I don't plan them before I make them. I just kind of see where they go, and the image kind of tells you when it's done. Maybe it's a bit hard to explain without showing something. I don't know. Is there a screen share option in this app? No, right?
Well, what I thought I would do is I would pop in like these images, you know, if with your permission, to put in what you posted on Instagram over us talking or underneath the video or whatever, so that
sure.
People can look at it and associate it with what you're saying.
I think I can also maybe show you, because there's always two main stages of all of the pictures that I posted.
Okay.
And especially, so there's always the stage like just drawing it on this app. And then there's the stage of what happens to it after I put it through this image editing app that I'm using. And it's actually, I mean, it's like an editing app, but it's almost like painting. Like, it's a lot closer to painting than a lot of the things that I normally do, actually.
Huh.
So, like, for example, you can reduce the color palette of an image. And the app itself thinks that, like, it's normally, the app is designed to edit photos and put, like, cool, I don't know, like, posterizing effects on them or something. But because it's actually not, like, super well programmed, it does some strange things, especially if you put drawings through it. And then it kind of messes up the colors a bit if you use certain functions. And then you're like, oh, I really love how this gray turned pink, for example, or how this blue turned green. And then you bring out these parts, and then bit after bit the actual image emerges. I think this intuitive way makes my work a lot more emotional, actually, because it helps me realize what I actually want to make.
Huh. So because the process contains surprises for you, you feel like your level of emotional engagement is different, and you like that.
Yes, exactly, yes. So it's a more of a editorial process, or how do you say it? Like a curative process, rather than a purely creating something from scratch one. Like I have to choose, I like for example, the picture that we're talking about right now, it has this like circular motion that's like taking place in this like, there's like this circle inside, but the character itself is also kind of in this spiral motion around the circle. So the spiral motion was like a kind of accident before, and then I tried to focus on it because it really tied the image together. So I put this ball structure and this like radial gradient around to just enhance it, for example.
Yeah, and then there's like these chains in the background, and then another background behind that background. Or no, that's just that's your Instagram account. That's not a part of the image. So, yeah, there's like these chains in the background, but then that like lens flare gradient glow in the middle is like in the background too. It's kind of interesting. Like, yeah, and so what's you call these second choice drawings compilation? What does that mean?
Oh, it was just like I don't know how many were there, like 5 or 6 drawings that I had saved on my tablet, and I didn't post them as individual posts. I just made a compilation of the stuff where I was like not completely sure that I loved them, you know. So just like a, how do you say, like a B-sides.
Exactly.
Of the drawing.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I guess there's about 8 of them actually, and it really makes like a, I don't know, like, because there's a real variety in these. I like them. Do you want to talk about any of the others in this compilation, or I guess if they were second choice, maybe we should move to something that was your first choice?
Oh, it's okay. Actually, maybe I think there's this one with the like a sea kind of, and there's a and there's a mermaid in it. Maybe about this one, I have a few more things to say because I worked a bit differently.
Yeah, but, it has like kind of like a black sun in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Oh, that one. Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the other which actually it's a bit similar to one other one that I made. Okay. So with this one, I was reading. I think at the time I was not feeling very well, and I was reading the Tarkovsky's book on filmmaking. Okay. You know the director, famous director, and he wrote, I think, something about just getting into an idea and describing what you see. And I think this is like, I like, other than most of the images I posted, this one was actually kind of done in one go, and I just put a few effects on top, but I pretty much drew it as it came. And I think the process was more like imagining having a dream and describing the dream. So imagine there's like just telling myself, oh, there's this mountain in the sea, like a rock in the sea, and I see a bird flying over it. And just while I'm telling these things to myself, just drawing it and trying to focus on the emotions that I'm having while I'm drawing it.
And so in this case, the tools are really kind of just serving you and using like your intuitive knowledge of what kind of result you're going to get, and it maybe not as reactive but more controlled process.
Yeah. Yes.
And so that's like, I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is that you already had the emotional intensity that you need to make something, so you didn't have to kind of like play with the materials to elicit that. You already had it.
Yeah, actually, this is like, normally, like, this process helps me realize what I'm feeling or what I want to feel or what I want the image to convey. But in this case, it was like, like the emotions were already there. And I actually tried to, I don't know, my friend does that. She never studied art or something. She's actually a scientist, but she paints these pictures when she's feeling a certain way, and they're very emotional. And I always admire that, like just drawing something and letting it not come from some aesthetic wish of it looking nice or something, or some I don't know, educated understanding of art, but actually just letting it come from your inner feelings and doing it in a meditative sort of way. It's very hard when you studied art or design, I think.
Right. Yeah, I guess a lot of people like try to like use like some kind of breathing process or like music or drugs or something to like try to like release their teaching and speak from their emotions. When you look at this, does it feel different from looking at different like other pieces that you've made? Like is there some different kind of feeling as being the author of this? Maybe
yeah, so I think yes, because like I can, it's like a photograph of this really bad feeling I had during the time when I made it.
And I guess it's like a lot less of a collaboration with the tools.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Why don't we try the Zav Clark cover? This is a totally different kind of thing. This is like
Which one did you choose? I made several. Oh no, actually, I only posted one, right? Like this one, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
Why can't I find it now?
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, I picked it. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna show me again. Sorry.
So I made two for him. Like I made several for him, but
yeah.
There's this one, and then there's like a pinkish one. Okay. But you wanted to talk about this one?
I think so. Or, yeah, that looks familiar.
Yes.
Oh, there it is. Great. Right before the banjo picture. Yeah. Yeah, I liked this one. There's a heart on this one, so this is obviously the one I liked.
A heart. Oh yeah, right. Okay, okay, now I see. Yes. Yeah. So Xav Clark, he's a British musician, and we just randomly met in my hometown in Bremen once. And he, I don't know, I think he saw one of my films and like a short film in the cinema before, in our local cinema. And he liked it. And since then we've been in touch sometimes and always talking about collaborating. And I think he really liked this new illustration style that I was putting on Instagram. So he asked me to draw these single covers for him on for Spotify, and I also made a music video for him. So yeah, it's my first actual commission as an illustrator. So it was a lot of trial and error. Like with this one, for example, he insisted on me putting like a sword on it. And like it was like for me it was finished before, but if you look at it closely, the sword's kind of like a bit. So, I wouldn't have put it there, but actually now, like I don't know, it's was his. Like sometimes he gets very excited about a certain thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, let's have this sword," and it's like, "Okay, well, let's do it." Okay. Yeah. So I think I kind of knew or could guess what he liked because I know him personally. He works as a sound designer for Cartoon Network, and like he makes music for some of their series. So I kind of knew that this is the kind of characters that he likes, and I made this a more Adventure Time like character for him.
What's Adventure Time?
You don't know it? It's I can like show like a picture of it maybe in the talk later. It's actually been a kids show, but a lot of adults watched it, especially animation fans.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been running on Cartoon Network. Like a lot of other series. They're based in London, I think.
Oh.
So yeah.
Like fantasy adventure stories?
Oh yes. It's like I don't know. It's very imaginative. Like it's like a fantasy kind of thing, and they use a lot of tropes from from different fantasy universes, but they have a lot of original ideas as well. So I think it used to be a graphic novel, and I made it into a very long series. Featuring, for example, the first lesbian couple in animation history on television.
Okay.
Stuff like that. They've been very, like moving things forward. They've been changing a lot, I think, in the animation world.
Okay. And so there was a bit of inspiration from that in this. And so what about your relationship with the music on the single? Like, did you hear the music first, and did you use that to try to generate this, or was it sort of separated?
So Xav makes this really like feel good vibe music, and I think I like a lot of his songs. I mean, it's been a commission, so I obviously listened to the song before and tried to figure out what would match image-wise. But I wasn't listening to it while drawing, for example. Like, he explained to me what he would like.
Okay. So when you heard it, like, was it like colors or like a composition that came to mind? Like, what did you take away from hearing the song that you would use to depict it visually?
I think like having a clear composition was definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
So I already knew that he liked like a pasta eating character, or like a character just eating like something, like slurping something.
Okay.
And so I already knew this. And the colors, actually, they just happened during the editing process. I think already the original colors were like pink and orange. And I just really fell in love with this green color palette during the editing process.
Yeah, there's something about this composition that's like really reminds me of some folk art and like indigenous art, and in this way that I don't know how I would be able to explain it, but in combined with this character, it I don't know. There's just something, and then there's these kind of digital artifact kind of elements in the composition that it's a nice combination. There's something really harmonious about it.
Oh, that's really interesting, actually. I do like folk art. Maybe it's been like subconscious. I follow like quite a few folk art Instagram accounts, and I like when I'm in the library, I like leafing through books with like this kind of art in them. So it could be that I'm just like, using these ways of like making an object from like from the image into the frame at the same time. Guess that's a device probably pretty folk arty.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like the kind of wheel shape in the background, and the way it's sort of adorned with these like these little decorations on it, and then the way there's like I guess it's the hair of this character that's sort of delineated by just like a reverse color. You know, I don't really know how to explain this, but people will be able to see it. Anyway, it to me, it like the perspective that's offered by this round shape and these lines coming out of it is that kind of like simple perspective I've definitely seen before in some art from Canada as like a way of just creating like a really nice landscape without like a lot of cumbersome lines and defining the space too much. This is like a sunset.
Yeah, I like this kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I love gradients because they always remind me of sunsets. I love using them for that reason, I think.
The next piece I wanted to talk about is from February 24th. And it's in our chat. But yeah, people will be able to see it. For some reason, the chat is like not loading for me. So I should have.
Yeah, I had it open actually.
I should have pasted these into a document, but I didn't do that. Here we go. Okay, February. Oh yeah. Okay, this is great.
February 24th, right?
24th. That's right. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah. It's the two guys doing the piggyback. Yeah. So. I think with this one, I was like, I mean, I'm always kind of trying to find the sweet spot between, I don't know, like formulating a character, but at the same time withholding just so much information that you can still kind of make out the figure.
Okay.
So that's the kind of like drawing I was basing this on before I put it through this image editing software. And I think it was also during the phase when I was making these album covers, like the single covers for Dev, and I thought this would be good for one of his songs. But in the end, I edited into this high format. So obviously, for Spotify, needs like square pictures, and it just didn't work so well on a square background. Yeah, I think. I don't know, like, did you see that there are two characters, or was it purely abstract for you?
No, I can see that there's a character. I didn't, like, the second character wasn't totally obvious to me.
Yeah, it was the same, but, like, some people could see it and some couldn't see the second one. But, yeah, there were, like, two, actually, like, one character having another one piggyback on his, on his back. And I just put those stars around them because I think like they reminded me of having its magical journey, and I thought that would go well with like a music cover because that's what it was initially supposed to be. But yeah, like let me just look at it again. I think drawing it, I just started probably with the shape of the like this shape, like the lower one. Okay. And I decided, this looked like a head, and then I drew some other parts of the body, but I tried to just like not be overly descriptive with the figures because I like this. Like I do like abstract art, but what I most like is abstract art that actually borrows something from character design, some that has some figurative elements, and just have them dissolve into each other. I like that.
That's like there's like several sort of frontiers that you're like standing on one toe, like also between something totally grotesque, but then also really cute and lumpy and like snuggly. Like this drawing, like the 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 faces and kind of the line quality is really kind of grotesque and but you know this world looks very inviting and kind of like soft and cuddly and then yeah, like an abstract composition with like a little bit of figurative like um, it's like not like camouflage or it's almost like teasing. It's like teasing my brain with like these little like oh there's someone there, you know, but I don't really know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think this is actually something that I'm missing sometimes in, I don't know, in movies or something that are being made nowadays. I mean, now the jump is a bit big, but I don't know, David Lynch, for example, explains in one of his books how in old, like in analog filming, you had these like grainy spaces where the brain would just kind of imagine something to be, but now on digital camera you have like you can see the objects inside those dark grainy spaces of the image, and it really takes away this like a very important element of imagination. And I think this fluctuating between abstract and figurative does like a similar thing, if that makes any sense. So
Okay. And the grotesque quality, is there like an influence that took you in that direction or something? Like it's because whenever it's grotesque, it's like you really see everybody's unique signature.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I like playing with ugly stuff because I think there's a lot of beauty in ugliness. I mean, these two characters from this drawing, they have these big noses, and which is used a lot in French and German comedy, like especially like these kind of newspaper cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of discovered that I quite like those figures because for me they have a certain there's something melancholic about them because they are always like they always have a silly face, and it's kind of like I think it's kind of sad that this whole universe is just made up of people who are inherently not allowed to be pretty because the creator designed them in a funny looking way in all of them. And I think there's also something very beautiful about that fact. Like, I mean, they don't probably even notice that they have these funny faces inside their own universe because they are drawn this way, unless there's some meta joke or something. But yeah, I think this is maybe my relation to the grotesque. I just think there is something like some melancholic value in this. Drawing something in a silly way. It's like chopping off their sincerity. It's like chopping off some, like, I don't know, when they get really actually emotional and sad, they still look funny. There's something really tragic about it.
Huh. Okay. I mean, the expression on this face, the way I see, the face I see, is like pretty satisfied. Like I see like a pretty like having a good day today.
Yeah, they're having a good time. They're not sad. But in general, I think if they were to be sad, they would still look grotesque, and that's for me. That's kind of charming. I think that's like what interests me about these big nose characters and those a bit more like less realistic faces.
Yeah, it's like the way of depicting something in front of our own face that like prevents us from having a totally transparent and complete 100% communication and understanding with other people. It's like a way of depicting that thing, whatever it is, that everybody has that makes it that our understanding of each other is always a little bit incomplete. And
that's interesting.
and
Yeah.
that can be really sad, like But it can also be funny. Like, it can be a source of humor of just like nobody's going to ever really understand what I mean, and so I just have to deal with that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah.
The next one is dress to impress.
That one, yeah. I think that one was a very, like, just following what just reacting and reacting and reacting on something. So I think with this one, I started off by, let me just open it and look at it. So I started off with these shapes of the body of this character. And then I think I sent them to this wave, through this wave distortion. And I wonder if the head was already on there. I think probably is. Oh, sorry, the cat wants to be here. Sorry. She will not shut up if I don't open the door. Okay. So I think that was just really, like, I don't know, probably sipping a glass of wine and just going through the app. Sorry.
It's okay. It's very different. Yeah, so this is like a process thing, mostly.
Yeah, I think, like, if you look at these kind of tribal shapes in the background, I think I drew them later on to sort of accentuate this movement of the character that was like this in this S shape. So they kind of hug it, but they're also the frame. And I thought that would be kind of interesting. But yeah, like a lot of the reason why I'm doing this is for some sort of like research to just also kind of find out what I want to do like in more like planned long-term project. So yeah, it was more like a way of like just loosening up and seeing what would emerge from my subconscious while I'm playing with those tools.
Well, I really like it. It has a lot in common with a lot of stuff that I've seen. There's this kind of these adjectives are not going to be great, but it's like this sort of like motorcycle, like high alcohol content beer marketing, like kind of like edgy, like alien, I don't know, spiky. It just has this that's very different from like the last one we looked at. But I think it really succeeds somehow, and like it reminds me of the artwork in the Led Zeppelin 4 album, where there's this like kind of like mage guy with a lantern on the top of this mountain, and he's just kind of the same shape of body, this kind of like hook shaped body in black and white, and so it like draws those things together. And then I guess in the way the background is kind of 80s, like these sort of color blocks that are kind of confetti, there's like a kind of Matisse feeling there. So anyway, I really enjoyed that one a lot.
I'm glad, thank you. Yeah, I think probably, I don't know, I like this feeling sometimes of something that looks a bit like an energy drink or so, like this intensity of some designs, like on certain products. Like I bought myself a mountain bike last year, and I was like, oh, this looks like an energy drink, like all this like like it also looked like it belonged to, I don't know, like a 13-year-old boy before, but I just like how some things are just kind of designed to be intense. Yeah, but then I couldn't resist the urge of putting a cute face on it as well.
Yeah, well, the face is very like kind of like post meme visuality. Like it isn't any one of those characters that we've seen so many times, but it has some of the same energy where it's like a little bit flatter and everything. The proportions are all weird. Huh. Yeah, I dig it. The last one is from January 30th, yeah, this is a whole other vibe.
Yeah, that's the I, right? Yes.
Oh, is this an I?
Yes, it was. I mean.
Okay. Great. What else can you tell us about it?
I think it was one of the very
eyes in the caption. I'm sorry, I completely went over my head.
It opens your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it was one of the first drawings that I made when I just started playing around with this drawing app. Maybe to give some more background where I started with it was like I just had a phase where I found it very, very hard to make art just for fun because of a very, like a long-term project that is a personal project, but at the same time, it took a lot of my time and also of my joy for just creating something for fun. And then TV Paint, which is the animation software I'm using on my tablet normally, stopped working. So I downloaded this free shitty drawing app just to see what would happen. And that was probably the second drawing I made, just playing around with those.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I should say there's probably going to be a lot of people, who, if anyone watches this, who are going to want to know what that app, that shitty free app you've just been talking about, is called.
I'll send you like the information later.
Okay.
I don't know it right now, and I'm using my tablet too. But it's just something like Painter. I don't know. Like there's actually lots of really shitty apps that are fun to play with. Because I don't know, like those developers are also artists in their own right, and they. Yeah. I don't know, like it's like a collaboration with them, which is the same thing with any other software, I guess. Like you collaborate with the developers, one way or another. Anyway, so there I was. I think I was just so in love with this gel pen. It like maybe I can send you a screen recording later on so you can see what I mean. It's like a thick line, and if you connect it back to itself, there is always an automatic shading and lightening on this. I just love how it feels like you're actually drawing with like, I don't know, like a hot glue gun or something like really thick and plastic. And I just made this drawing of an eye using that pen. And I put it through this editing app and just saw what would happen if I I don't know, add some waves and mess with the colors a bit. I think I put some gradient on it as well to give it some like depth. What else did I do? Actually, I didn't do that much to compared to a lot of the others. Yeah, and I just like weird eyes, like reinterpreting eyes in some way, because I guess like it's such a classic thing to just draw an eye. Like everyone does that when you're like a bit artsy as a teenager. You just always sit in the last row in class and you always draw an eye. And I like just really, I don't know, messing with this stereotype. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, there's something so like deeply folk about this, or like folk fusion. I don't even, I don't quite know how to, like, I feel like I'm in some like neo-hippie haberdashery, like looking at some like, really fancy fringed saddlebag with, and this is like this logo on it or something. So sometimes, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about like your art education or your history with art in your life.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try to give you a short run through. So I didn't go to art school immediately after school, but I spent a year in London, and I got familiar with the comic scene there. I think that played kind of a role. And I got interested in fashion. So I started my studies when I went back to Germany, kind of in fashion. And in our university, it is so that you can actually, without changing your course, you can try different things. And so after trying a couple of things like photography and illustration, I ended up with animation, which unfortunately we didn't have a professor for. So it was just me and YouTube. Yeah, it was a kind of a chaotic start. So,
Okay.
But I just knew this is what I want to do and what I actually would probably continue doing for at least the next 10 or 20 years before I get bored. But so far I haven't become bored. So right after art school, I got a scholarship for a pilot for an animated series, which I wrote, and I'm still producing it. We're finishing up now, which is also a reason why I wasn't good at Bash. Because I'm working with a couple of artists there.
What's that called?
It's called ALP.
Okay.
So the mountains, the Alps, and but at the same time, it's also an abbreviation for the name of a party who controls a society where in the world where this is set. So it's like a science fiction kind of story.
Okay.
Yeah. And and then this illustration just kind of came into my life in the beginning of this year because I was looking for something to take my mind off this very high stakes project that where I feel like all the time, if I fail, I'm never going to get a chance like this again. But yeah.
And in art, I know that every day our influences change and our perception of what influences us changes, but I mean, is there anything you could mention as something that maybe something unusual that people might not know that fascinated you, or really that you felt really strongly attracted to?
Actually, I love looking at memes, and I love this liminal spaces trend, which I think fired a lot of I don't know, it kind of plays some role in my aesthetics, I think. I don't know, are you familiar with this term?
No.
So liminal spaces, in short, it's just it was a phenomenon on the internet where people posted videos or pictures of abandoned places, mostly kind of associated with childhood, like waiting rooms at doctors, etc. And they would write oh, look at this place and imagine this is a childhood memory that you forgot or that you suppressed. And people would be oh, this is crazy. I actually feel I've been there. And it just created this trend of people almost acting as if they were all having these collective deleted memories or something.
Whoa.
And I just thought that was so interesting. So that's really inspiring for me. And apart from that, I'm really in love with MTV from I guess the 90s, this liquid television series of just weird short animations. Series like The Max or Eon Flux that were running on MTV at that time. So that's stuff that I really like.
Great. And you said that, so this Instagram is not the main thing. The main thing is your animation stuff. And so where can people see that?
I think it would probably be on some way of available through some way of internet streaming. So I'm also posting a lot of stuff from my actual work on that Instagram is kind of mixed a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, like I don't run a second account right now. I guess I should probably if I want to take the illustration part more seriously as well. But I like to, I don't know, be on the internet as a person and not as like several businesses. I like people to see what I'm up to in my life in general.
Okay, so people will catch some little snippets of your animation work in this Instagram. I just didn't happen to pick any of them to talk about.
Yes, okay. Exactly.
Cool. Okay, and like, do you have any plans to exhibit this art or share it with people in a space that's not digital? And what do you think about like art that's created digitally? Is there a place for it in like the physical world?
Oh, do you want to talk about NFTs?
No, I mean I'm thinking more like like if I want like a poster of this like dope saddlebag.
Actually, I just recently I show you I printed one of my drawings for the first time. It felt very good. I have a postcard now of one of my designs. Yeah, actually, I think I would love to do a little exhibition. So probably before we leave our countryside domicile here, I would like to show some of the drawings I made about elves and fairies in, I don't know, hopefully a local gallery just for the people here in the villages to see. Because there's a lot of like folklore about fairies and elves here in the area, and some of the woods are really magical, and I found it really inspiring. So I think actually I would love to do like digital print of some of the stuff that I was doing about this, and I don't think I worry about them not being done in traditional media. I think it's just a kind of also maybe also kind of melancholic reflection on how digital everything has become, but it's also part of our times. So I don't know, like this magic and internet and the digital, like it doesn't cancel each other out. I think they coexist.
Yeah, I think it's with digital art. It is confusing to think about looking at it in like a physical space or printing it or something when it was really created on a screen. And so maybe does that mean it belongs on a screen, and should there be just a bunch of screens in the gallery with the image on it? And then some people are like, no, it's fabric, like because fabric is like the punch cards used to weave patterns into fabric are like the precursor of the punch cards that created computers. So digital art should be like physicalized in textiles. And like some of this stuff, you know, like the shirt you're wearing, it's like would make really nice patterns. And so anyway, I'm always interested to hear like and there's some stuff that I've seen that I think, yeah, like it would make a nice poster. And I guess I don't really think I care if it was created on a computer or not. And you know, just about any photo that you would have a poster of has been processed through a computer in some way, you know. So, and what about if like people want to support you and you know, like they want more of your work in their life? Like, how should they do that?
I don't know. I think currently I'm trying to freelance as an illustrator and do commissions because I want to know where I can actually. And it would probably be cool if I had like a small online shop of like selling small prints and cards and stuff and stickers. I love stickers.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, right now I've been mostly living off funding money for my film projects, and that's how I received support. I don't have a business yet as an artist with my visual stuff. But yeah, I would probably gladly take commissions.
Okay. Well, there are so many different ways to do it. So, yeah, it's been fun to enjoy it as a Instagram scroller to stumble across this stuff. So thanks for talking to me. And is there anything you want to say? Is there anything that we missed?
Mm, nothing that would come to my mind right now. I will send you some of the screen recording and stuff, so you have some better imagination of some of the processes that I've been explaining.
That sounds great.
Because I think it's probably a bit difficult to imagine. And I can also send you the name of those apps.
Yeah, that I think. Like I said, if anybody watches this, they're probably gonna be curious about that. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very inspiring talk, I think, with you, like also the stuff that you said.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, that's the beauty of stuff like this, is that it, like, I guess it's like, yeah, it makes ideas happen.
Yeah, totally.